How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm in Los Angeles and we're here for a month, so all is well.
Yeah, I mean that's a long run. Is that your longest? Where you guys going to be the longest?
I think it's the longest so far. I'm not sure if it's the longest in total, but definitely the longest so far.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
how is the show going so far?
Oh my gosh, it's going amazing. The
Yeah.
audience is super, super stoked. Definitely a beautiful theater to perform in, but yeah, the show's going really well.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know anybody who doesn't love the movie,
Yeah,
and I feel like that's a good portion of it right there. You walk in and you automatically have all these people who are like predisposed to loving it. It's
absolutely. Yeah. You have your Back to the Future movie fanatics, and you can definitely tell when they're in the audience because you feel the energy and you hear them. Those are my favorite audiences.
yeah. Is there anything like different from the movie that to the show?
There are a few differences. My main difference that I love to point out is the original music. There's a lot of original music that sometimes isn't as broadcast as the iconic Huey Lewis songs that we know and love, Power of Love, things like that. But yeah, some of the original music in the show is really amazing.
What about like I saw a picture of you. I obviously haven't seen the show yet. I saw a picture of you in character. You look totally different. Like if you
Yes.
if you like walked right past me and I wouldn't even recognize you.
You would never know. I leave the stage door and I'm incognito, I guess you could say.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I have three gorgeous wigs that are all styled after the original Leah Thompson, Lorraine Baines that everyone know and obviously loves because she's incredible. So yeah, it's a short brunette wig styled in three different ways to represent my character traveling through time. You know, you meet Lorraine at the top of the show when she's 47. She has three kids and she has a drinking problem.
Who
So the
doesn't?
wig,
I mean, at that age.
and the wig is manifested in, a little bit of dismay, but it's still gorgeous. They're styled by Jake. He's our wig supervisor. He's incredible. And then the iconic 50s wig is perfectly resemblant of the movie. And then she gets to go back in time and she's reformed into a new 47-year-old type of woman. And it is stunning. Every time I put them on, I feel like $1 million.
Had you seen the show before you auditioned for it?
I hadn't, I was touring on the road with Six the Musical for 2 years when I was submitting for this role. And I did most of my auditions via tape. So I think I sent in maybe three times. And then I finally got the opportunity to travel to New York City to meet John Rando, the director, and most of the creative team and some of the original creators of Back to the Future themselves. And then they flew me in one more time to have a little work session. And from there, the rest is history. And then when we started, I continued being on the road with Six, so I hadn't gotten the opportunity to see the show. But when we started rehearsals, I had 9 days between contracts, and I snuck a little showing of the Broadway production, and I sat in that seat, and it was like a kid in the candy store. I just remember like the magic of the theater taking over me and being like, holy crud, I can't believe I get to be a part of this like awesome story and bring like so much joy and laughter to the audiences every night. And I was truly like, how are they doing this? How are they creating these iconic movie moments live on stage? And I didn't know at the time, and it was thrilling.
I've
So
heard nothing but good things about the show. It's like a
yeah,
big spectacle, and yeah, it's like something you got to see.
it is theater magic.
Yeah, right. So from the time you left Six until you started the show, it was 9 days.
Yeah, I had 9 days in between to pack up all of my things on the road with that tour, get everything shipped home. Then I went home for like 4 days to repack my things, say hi to my family, which is very important to me, and then head to New York to live there for a month while I rehearse the show.
Wow, but that's cool. I mean, like nonstop. I mean, that's kind of the fun of it.
It's every actor's dream, so I was very grateful.
Yeah. Are you based in New York?
Yeah, I'm based in New York, but I am from Boston, Massachusetts, so I get a little bit of close proximity to go back and forth from home.
Now, when you said you were called into New York and like have like a work session, what did that entail? Like you were working with the other actors who you might be paired up with?
No, that is a chemistry read. I have been a part of those. Those are awesome too. But for this one, it was just me and the director, and basically, they had given me notes, and I had taken those notes, but I think there was like this inkling that was like, let's just bring her in one more time to work with her again. So I worked with the director. There was a reader in the room. The amazing casting office of Tara Rubin was there. And then everything I had done that day was taped and sent for final discussion for the UK team until they approved it. So yeah,
Nice. That's awesome.
yeah.
Uh, you were in six. Were you here in San Diego?
I wasn't. The closest I came here was Sacramento.
Okay. How was your time on that? I love that show.
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. I mean, what a beautiful trampoline to start me into this whole career. I graduated in 2020 from the University of Michigan, and then I had a year in New York City before I started six. And it was awesome. I mean, my cast was fantastic. Those women have stuck with me since, and I hope they'll stick with me for the rest of my life. The show is freaking awesome. I mean, 80 minutes of pure bliss, nonstop, on your feet, incredible songs, awesome storytelling. Like it's a dream of a first show. So I couldn't be more lucky.
So you graduated in what'd you say, 2020?
Yeah, 2020. Yeah.
2020. So and what was your year like before you got six? Were you just auditioning a lot, like working like whatever survival jobs?
Well, I'm sure you remember, but take us back.
Oh, geez,
Don't
right.
take us back to 2020.
Yeah.
It was a scary time, my friend. I graduated into a field that virtually didn't exist for like most of that year. Um, I I didn't get to do a lot of the things that an actor usually does post graduation. They showcase, they go to NYC, they meet representation, they start auditioning, but I actually just went home and crossed my fingers that the industry would open up again.
Hmm.
And then I was fortunate enough through my program to get represented. So they would submit me for TV and film, and we'd do it all virtually until I finally moved to the city and I started the grind. I started auditioning, I started nannying, I started catering, and I did the whole thing until I finally was in the final round for six. And someone was on my side because they gave this fresh out of college girl an opportunity to tell a story on a big stage. So,
I'm an actor too, and like when I do a show, uh, like backstage, it takes me like I feel like weeks into the run to find out where everything is and where I need to go and where this is and that is, where a quick bathroom is or something. Uh, I'm just kind of fascinated, like someone like you do who does tours and you're in a different theater, like either sometimes week to week. How in the heck do you know like where to go or what's going on? Like because me, I'm just like,
you
even like
know,
being there for weeks.
yeah, I mean, sometimes I don't, right? Sometimes I forget what city I'm in and where the bathroom is backstage, how I get to my dressing room. Um, it's nice when we have these longer sit downs because you become very acclimated and you get to form a routine. I mean, your traffic and your blocking backstage is just as important as your traffic and blocking on stage, right? Especially in a show like Back to the Future, because there are so many moving parts and there are so many things happening backstage that are dangerous if you don't know where you're going. So, the orientation process of it all is very important. That first Tuesday in a new city, you can't just like close your eyes or just not or slack off. You actually do have to pay attention to um our company manager will make a speech and then our stage manager will make a speech, and that stage management speech is all about basically safety, what level the lights are at, where the spot ops are at, what you can expect on the lip of the stage. It's only a 6-inch depth, so be careful when you run to there's a net on the orchestra in the city, there isn't a net on the orchestra in the city, things like that. And sometimes our depths change on the stage, when our flies come in, maybe they'll be more upstage or downstage. They'll tell us what it's like off stage. The calling desk will be on stage left this week instead of stage right. So it just really it depends. And that first Tuesday is all about figuring it out and trusting the process. So no, usually once you have one show in you, it kind of start snowballing from there. But
Hmm.
yeah, just got to keep your eyes open.
What is the technical wise like that we will see? What's the coolest part of the show, you think?
Oh gosh. There's so many there's so many cool tech parts of the show. The LED wall is incredible. State of the art. Those projections and the LED designs that they have for the show are amazing. Um, yeah, there's a projection in the top of Act Two that I just think is slapstick comedy, absolutely incredible. We also have a moving turntable that will move a lot of our sets. And at the end of Act One, it's very cool. We call it chaos. There's a lot of things happening all at once. And a lot of faith in technology has to happen to make all this happen. And then there's something, the car. I mean, the car scenes you see in the movie do come to life on stage. So that's all I'll say about that. But those
Yeah.
are some of my favorite parts.
How do you I was in a show with a turntable once, and that sucker would break like once a week, I feel like, and we'd
Oh,
just be sitting there waiting, waiting for it to turn back on.
that's the worst. Yeah, I mean, thankfully they have a pretty good system going. And I think because, we do 8 shows a week, it has to be very reliable and it has to travel. So it has to be sturdy. But yeah, there are days where I'm like, oh gosh, for crossing my fingers. But no, it's been really good so far.
Just another question for you. I'm like a big person of like routine. Like if my routine gets screwed up, and I'm talking about like life. Like in the morning, my day's kind of messed up. How do you set your own? How do you set a routine when you're, in a hotel room to city, like, uh, just to sort of maintain some balance of like realness?
Yeah, I mean, you have to be flexible. You can't be precious really about it. Because your space is constantly changing. Sometimes I have room for a yoga mat, sometimes I don't. Um, so yeah, I think know what's important to you and know what you need to have yourself most prepared, but know that sometimes you do need to change what that looks like. Sometimes you'll have to get to the theater early because you won't have space in your hotel room, or um, sometimes you need to move your humidifier because there's no side table next to it. So, I mean, yeah, it's really all about breathing and knowing that like everything's gonna be okay and we're all malleable. But you can mostly get everything that you need done, even though it's gonna be a different space.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me. I
Yeah.
can't wait to see the show. I think I'm going to bring my kids to it, and
Yes, yes, you
yeah,
should.
yeah.
Please
So
do.
have a good run until you're here,
Thank you.
and I am looking forward to it.
Awesome. Thank you. Can't wait to be in San Diego.
Yeah, it's cold here, so don't
It's
hopefully you bring
cold
some.
here too. I get
Yeah.
out of the show and I'm like, I wear a scarf and everyone makes fun of me. I'm like, y'all are gonna pay for that.
Well, you're from Michigan. I mean, you're used to the cold, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But still, I mean, you got to protect the voice.
Right. True. Yes. Right. All right. Well,
Uh,
bye. And
bye.
hopefully I'll
Nice
again
to
talk
meet
to you
you.
again at some point.
Yes, I'll see you at the stage door.
All right. See ya. Bye.
Bye.